Hey, what's up, guys? Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. Hope you're having a lovely, lovely weekend out there in South Florida or wherever you are watching us, as we got some international play started getting going last night. Did I watch after the Marlins got a win? Did I tune in on the FIBA YouTube page and skim through some Norman Powell highlights for Team Jamaica taking on Barbados? Perhaps I did. It was not like the most earth-shattering stuff, but it's also a little bit different. Like, I'm watching Norman Powell, and it feels like, well, first of all, this is not like I'm scouting Jovic, who's like new. He's going to grow every year. He's going to put on some things. You're watching a guy who's been in the league forever, but it was kind of just, I was like, let's just check in on what he's doing. And it wasn't like the most earth-shattering performance either. It wasn't a bad performance either. I think it was like 12 points, 3 of 7, got to the free throw line a bunch, got somebody with the old pump fake on the 3. Had I think probably his best play. He had a steal and then a fast break assist to one of his teammates whose name escapes me. Maybe I'll get to know more of the Jamaican national team as I continue doing this. The broadcast was in Spanish for me. I think the game was in Mexico. But they pretty much handled Barbados all the way. I thought with Norman Powell, it definitely felt like he was kind of, mind you, these are kind of friendlies before they get into their actual tournament where they're trying to qualify. And so I think he was kind of trying to lay back a little bit. It didn't feel like he was really forcing the issue, except maybe a couple of times where he would get the turnover for his team. Definitely felt like, not one of those foot on the gas type games for Norman Powell, but certainly was interesting to try and get to know him even more as a player. So there was that. And, it's going to be interesting to see, what he brings to the table for Miami. And, we're getting some of the pundits that are coming out here, some of them that are giving their thoughts on the Miami Heat. And I do feel genuinely, because of where the East is at, I don't know if you guys saw the Christmas games, opening night, this East is an afterthought to the NBA. It is an absolute afterthought. It's probably one of the reasons you should have maybe gotten KD over to the East, but just because those legacy stars, LeBron, Steph, Durant, they do still carry a lot of weight as compared to the younger stars. I think, Joker, Luka, and breaking through, even SGA being as great as he is, like, I still don't know if he has the appreciation from the casual fan with his style. In fact, I feel like a lot of people who watched him last year and how dominant that OKC team was, it was still a lot of, he's foul baiting. And I'm like, that's his style. It doesn't feel like, it feels to me, it didn't feel as James Harden-y to me with what Spo calls the trickery. Some guys are really good at drawing fouls. Jimmy Butler was very good at drawing fouls, but Jimmy Butler would do it like, boom, I'm going to run into you. You do what you can. Obviously, you guys could probably find me a TikTok blend of like 90 seconds over a long career of plenty of times where he is tricking too. But for the most part, it isn't flopping and flailing like a fish like some of the other players do. But, man, that East is an absolute afterthought. And I heard this take, and this one hurt my heart a little bit because I respect this guy. A lot of carnival barkers out there, right? A lot of pseudo experts, as the great Tony Fiorentino says. And I saw this play, and so this was from Tim Legler's podcast, and they were going over the over-unders, the All-NBA show. And they were getting to the Miami Heat, and Tim Legler, he gave a spite pick, which I was just like, what? So they were going over the games, and this is what Legs had to say on the Miami Heat.
What do you make of the Miami Heat and the moves they made? Namely, Norman Powell.
Yeah, Norman Powell, the biggest one, and he's gonna bring something to their team because he had his best year of his career offensively. He's always been a guy that plays hard defensively, so you're not really bringing a guy in that needs that. I guess on that alone, maybe you think that it's an uptick. They were 37 last year. They had Norman Powell, so you think 38.5 should do it. And yet, I just look at their team. I don't know, maybe you know what it is for me? I think I'm just a little bit bored with the Heat. Like, they bore me. So like, if you start talking about, they're going to be 500 or better, now you're talking about them being, it's kind of relevant in the East, and I don't know that they're going to be. So I'm going to go under, and I'm probably going to be wrong on that because they won 37. They added Norman Powell. That alone should be enough. And Khalil Ware, had a very good rookie year. Maybe he just comes out of the gate like a monster. Maybe that matters a lot. Tyler Hero had the best year of his career. So there's a lot there maybe you could build on. And I just think it's just so unexciting for me, like their team in general.
Man, that hurt my heart, dude, because Legler is one of the guys I really like. I feel – and Legler, I think the thing that hurts me the most about this, dude, is I think in a lot of ways you are, the Miami Heat of NBA analysts. Like finally I think you're going to, there's word that he may get like the lead spot again on the Broncos, which he probably should have had a long time ago. This guy's one of the best doing it, and in a long time, and somewhere along the way, we lost an appreciation for Tim Legler. All right, the worldwide leader, the Mouse, went out there, and they're just like, let's get Kendrick Perkins saying crazy things. Let's get every Cavalier who ever played with LeBron James. Let's just sweep Tim Legler under the rug. Let's not appreciate actual basketball. And so it hurts my heart to hear a man who I would equate to as just hoops on the national stage, who's actually like on one of the prominent platforms, coming out there and just like, bored of the Heat, going under. And because he gave every reason why he should go over. Every single reason. And yet there's part of me that can't even be mad because, as a hot take artist myself, like I can respect a spite pick. Trust me, there are plenty of things that I have just gone the other way in a series pick or a series prediction just because I don't like you. But it hurts that Tim Legler has gotten to that point with the Miami Heat where he's like, yeah, they added Norman Powell. The win difference is one game. Logic says they should be better, but fuck them. I don't want to pick them. They're boring. And I was just, whoa, dude, that really hurts. That hurts to hear that Tim Legler's just rats off his ship on picking the Miami Heat because he's bored of the conversation with him. And to be honest with you, look, I get it. The Miami Heat, I think a lot of Heat fans have had the argument, this whole run it back thing that has been the buzz term for a while. Now the Miami Heat have made a significant move. They've added an all-star, near all-star quality player to their team. We've been dying for, to get something like this, and you gave up nothing. Now, is Norman Powell the sexiest player in the league? I've talked about this. No, it's not. But it's almost he's almost too perfect a fit for the Miami Heat based on production, respect that he probably has around the league. But sizzle to Norman Powell is not exactly things that I would say go with one another. The guy's term is understand the grind. This guy couldn't be more Miami Heat if he tried. And I was just like, damn, Legs is gonna hit the Heat like that, just with like a bag of nickels in a pillowcase. I'm just like, I feel attacked. I feel a little nude. I feel exposed with Tim Legler's disgust in the Miami Heat. But to be honest with you, look, from a national perspective, I get it. I don't think the Miami Heat really have like the sexy thing right now that draws them. I will say, as a Heat fan, as a person who watches this team day in, day out, I'm watching motherfucking Team Jamaica last night. That's how much I'm fiending for this team to get back, okay? I am trying to find every which way to watch Serbia today so I can watch Jovic, dude. To be honest with you, I actually think this is one of the more exciting seasons coming in. And maybe I'm using exciting as a cope word for intriguing, but I am intrigued by Tyler Hero in a contract extension year. What does that look like? Bam Adebayo, questions about his offense, and especially what the struggles were early on in the year. Is there anything else there? Or have we plateaued? Have we regressed? Or can we still go up? You're 28 years old. What's the thing there? And that's a player I greatly respect and enjoy watching. I love watching Bam Adebayo. I really do. Is there more there? Andrew Wiggins being more comfortable here. Like, this is the ones I'm probably like, I was very hard on Andrew Wiggins to end last year and how that whole experiment went with him being down in the pecking order, just kind of filling in the cracks all over the place. Is that the perfect place for him, or are the Miami Heat going to flip him at some point if the season goes off the rails? I think there's interest there. Norman Powell, kind of already talked about that. This guy is playing on a contract year. Thought very highly of himself. Do him and Tyler work as a dynamic duo? Can you invest in both of those guys? Is this a one-hitter quitter of just the season there? Love to see what Davion Mitchell's going to bring to this table, because you feel like there's more there than beats the eye. Pella, but the young guys, Pella, Nikola Jovic, Kalel, Keyshawn Johnson, a lot of those guys, those four guys alone have me very, very intrigued with this season. And I would say those are the guys who bring me the most excitement to this team. I am intrigued to see if Erik Spoelstra can fix some of the shortcomings of this team offensively, and certainly in late game situations and fourth quarter collapses. He's kind of promised me. I'm going to say you promised me, Spo. And then, of course, you have like the intrigue of what the hell's going to happen with Terry Rozier. Can Jaime Jaquez find whatever the hell left him last year? Can that be something that is figured out and fixed? Man, am I missing anybody? I think that I've pretty much touched them all on the Miami Heat when it comes to their roster and what's left for this team. You know, you got the two-way guys, of course, as well, with Golden and Gardner and all that stuff. But yeah, I was like, oh man, Tim Legler. I feel like Tim Legler would respect, because there has been, everybody else has been looking at him and like, yeah, you know what? There's no way they're not better. And it's not even that. Oh, how can I forget the rookie, Kasparas Yakachonis? I'm an idiot. I just threw up the depth chart. I'm just like, oh yeah, well, dummy. I am intrigued. But I think the thing with Kaz is I'm a little like, I think they're going to slow roll him. I think that's how that's going to go. So there's him as well. So I would say Pella, Nico, Kalel, Keyshawn, Kasparas, those five guys. Yeah, that does have me excited for the season, because I do think that when the Heat talk youth movement, I think they are going to lean more into those guys. I don't think that like Fontecchio is going to take Nikola Jovic minutes. I don't think that's going to happen. But you know, you lose somebody like Legler because you've just you've been so unexciting. You've been a playing team for the last handful of years with a couple of with one surprise finals run thrown in there as well, and no Jimmy Butler anymore. And Jimmy Butler, like, look, love him or not, Jimmy Butler maybe doesn't have the most exciting style of play, and especially in the regular season, Jimmy Butler was, whether he wanted to be or not, the face of the Miami Heat, and had that mantle, and was an intriguing guy. By the fire and that starting five show, was the most interesting guy to follow. So it's not that it's not a fair criticism, it's just the guy that it's coming from hurts. And I'm hopeful that the Miami Heat can win the Leglers of the world back, because Legs, you're not one of these carnival barkers who's like, oh, I need to see this. Does he have that dog in him? That's not you, dude. You usually have more steak than seasoning. But this is where they're at. I can't hate on it too much. I think from a local level, like I said, I think there are the people who follow this team day in and day out. There is a lot. Is there a national story around the Miami Heat right now? Not really. Not even if you want to force the Tyler Hero extension, right? Like, we talked about this the other day, is like people were monitoring around the league what's happening there. And I'm like, I don't buy that so much, because Pat and Tyler have already talked openly, like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So even, you know, I know on the Hoops Collective, they were talking about the Norman Powell, Tyler Hero thing. It's like, but let's be real. No, how could anything be extension talks like it was last year with Jimmy getting no talks and then it blowing up in their face like Wild Heat Coyote? So it's disappointing to lose Tim Legler. We're gonna miss him. I will allow him ability to appeal. I will give him until Christmas, and you know, if he begs for forgiveness, I may allow him back.